All right, so um, final exam for DS-106 is to reflect, if you will, on the course and look back and kind of, take a look at everything. Um, I want to start off by saying that this was definitely not what I expected of this class. I think that it was a lot more involved and had a much larger, already active community than I ever expected it to have. Um, and I think that kind of helped, you know, from the get go to help with getting into it a little bit more, seeing that there was already active participation. I think one of the main things um, where I definitely didn't step up to the plate was in interacting with the community all that much, and I think that if I were to go back and do it again, that's where I would focus on is interacting with other DS-106ers, and I think I was a little bit removed from the whole you know active class with the whole DS-106, DS-107, and all that stuff that was going on. I don't think not to say that the whole DS-107 and Dr. Oblivion thing was like a sideshow in any way, as Groom put it in his email. I think it was um, good to a point in that it created this level of interest in well, what's the deal, who's who, and are these people mentally unstable, which I definitely considered for the first week of the class that was a definite possibility, especially once Dr. Oblivion did go missing. Um, and but I think overall it was done in a way that kind of added a little bit of intrigue to the class, and it allowed for other people to come in and instead of just having Jim Groom or Dr. Oblivion sitting up there, the disappearances and the freakouts, whatever, they lent themselves to saying, here we're going to have Tim Owen step in for the day, or Martha Burtis is going to step in for the day, or Andy Rush, whoever is going to step in and give their expertise. And it kind of is just saying like, oh, okay, well, today's class is going to be with, you're like, all right, well, Tim Owens is here today because you know this happened and this happened and this. So it's kind of, it gives an interesting aspect to it, and it kind of makes it a little bit. It gives you a little bit more to work with, um, as far as kind of class material too. If at any point you're working on something, you can always fall back on the Doctor Oblivion saga or Jim Groom or anything like that. You can. It definitely allowed for that to be a point of creativity. From a creative standpoint, I think that this class kind of challenged me really to think outside the box, or at least the box that I generally work in, and it forced me to explore some things. Obviously, some things I already did on the computer with with tweeting and everything like that. Which we didn't even really have to do all that much. But like the daily shoots, I think were a great way to take somebody like me who's not creative. I don't even own a camera. I took my photos on my on my Droid, and they all came out relatively well, I thought. But it kind of forced us into looking at things a little bit differently, and forced us into getting into some things that we probably wouldn't have if we were never signed up for this class. I know for a fact that I had never heard of Daily Shoot, and I don't think I ever would participate if I had heard, unless I was asked to. And though I did only participate for the time when we were asked, it's one of those things where I think maybe I'll go back and throw in a few daily shoots here and there, check it out, see if there's something cool up. I I think it definitely helped me expand my creativity a little bit. It definitely introduced me to some programs I've never used before. I've had a Mac for almost 2 years now, and I've never touched iMovie. I've never touched GarageBand. You know, I never had. I downloaded Photoshop to do work with most of this stuff, and um, I really enjoyed getting to learn, everything, and starting to use all this stuff. Um, Especially, I think personally, I did well in the first part, the design part of the course. I really enjoyed that a lot. I really got into using the icons for things and stuff like that, and I personally enjoyed it. Um, I was a little lacking in the audio on my dates on the radio show. I wasn't as comfortable, and um, it's one of my personal things that I need to just get over, kind of thing. Is for some reason, speaking in front of a camera or recording myself or anything like that is kind of, I'm not all too comfortable with it. And I think that's, since the audio was the first part of anything I would be doing like that, that was kind of where I was like, okay, well, I don't know. And I was a little tentative, and I didn't really, well, I thought I was like, oh yeah, I'm jumping in all the way, and then, the audio came around, and I don't think I did that, and I don't think I did a successful job. Um, but uh, I tried really hard after that point, to put out good work, get it done on time, get everything figured out. Uh, Overall, I really enjoyed the class. As an online class, I think it works really well, because there's such a strong community out there to keep you involved and keep you kind of in the game. And I was a person who, for the first half, everything started at 11:30. I was in class from 10 to 12, so I didn't get a chance to see any of the first 2 weeks or so live, and that was one thing that it didn't hold me back at all, because I saw everybody's feedback on everything. I still got to see the videos, and but I think the strong online community and online presence definitely keeps you in the game. And it's kind of one of those things. It's nice to not have to go and sit in a class and have to listen to it. If I have something else to do, I can get back to it later, and I can still watch the lecture or watch the whatever, listen to the radio show, however it's formatted, and I can do that on my own time, if necessary. I also think that it gives so many more levels to the way that you can distribute the course material. If you're in a classroom, there's pretty much one way you can do it. Give it out. Maybe show a video or a video clip, but you can't you can't get across on as many media outlets as you guys touch on in DS-106, and I think the video, the radio, everything like that. I think doing it as an online class really allows you to use all your resources as DS-106, having the DS-106 TV, having DS-106 radio. I think that's a lot more effective when it's done in an online environment, as it was. Um, like I said, I enjoyed the class. I would definitely do it again, and I'm kind of intrigued for, I obviously, hope I get a good grade and everything like that. Um, it's one of those things, but I think I really enjoyed the experience. I really enjoyed um, being able to kind of step outside of my own box and my own personal limitations or what have you, and do this. And I think, as somebody who's not, quote unquote creative, I think it was a nice way to kind of practice being creative. And, we touched on that a little bit. And I think, it's true. Anybody can be an artist, or anybody can, whatever you practice at it. And and one of the first steps is getting comfortable with doing those types of things, and that's definitely what DS-106 allowed me to do. It made me comfortable with, expressing my ideas, or, you know, doing something artistic, if you will. So, like I said, enjoyed the class and had a pretty good time. Definitely do it again. And thank you, Professor Groom. Thank you, Dr. Oblivion. Thank you, Martha. Thank you, Tim Owens. Everybody who's involved in the whole online community. It's been a pleasure.